With that. My next guest, though, is someone that is truly focused on international finance and its relationship to markets. Joining me now, Walser Wealth Management President Rebecca Walser. And Rebecca, there's been a lot of saber rattling this week, and to me, it was clear that it had a negative impact, particularly that session, the worst session of the year earlier in this week. Just your thoughts on what's going on.
Oh, where to begin, Charles? So much is going on, but I definitely think this is a macroeconomic geopolitical year. And, even just today with, testing 4% on the 10-year and the strongest dollar we've had in 2 months, it reminds me of, the Swiss National Bank that lost $143 billion in 2022, their worst ever in relation to, their conversion effects of their franc to the U.S. dollar. The other countries in the world don't want to see the dollar so strong because obviously a lot of debts are denominated in dollars, but assets are denominated in domestic currencies. And so a lot of countries feel like the dollar has been weaponized ever since we kicked Russia out of the SWIFT payment system. And obviously Russia has coalesced, as they had been for 20 years, around the BRICS nations. And we see this pull away of a substantial amount potentially of countries that are moving more towards multipolarity away from the U.S. dollar.
This morning, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she sounded more like a war minister. I mean, she was laying it down pretty tough on Russia and also kind of warning these other nations to, not to get involved, not to help them. And you brought it up already about these so-called BRIC nations, right? Brazil, Russia, India, and China. They've continued big-time economic, listen, they're getting cheap oil, among other things. I mean, what will be the impact if these groups, and there's others who are applying to be part of it, like South Africa, if we rip the world into two different groups, how will it have an economic impact?
Well, Charles, we don't even know the granularity of impact would be at every sector, every business, everywhere. And the reason for that is, as you know, in 1974, we really clearly established the petrodollar when we agreed with Saudi Arabia that all OPEC Plus and Russia agreed that all OPEC sales would be in U.S. dollars. And in return, we would be the security agreement for Saudi Arabia. That really began to change in April of 2021 when Saudi Arabia signed a security agreement with Russia. Certainly changed last year. At the end of last year, it was kind of not really talked about in the media, but Saudi Arabia came out the end of Q4 last year and said, China is our #1 economic partner, and we view the United States as any other country. So we haven't been saying what we've been told. And I think that, when you look at the war games with Russia and you see that everything shows like some kind of nuclear conflict, that, any kind of World War III escalation in any way would be a problem. But I think we're naive to think that Russia and China weren't already aligned. This is not new information. This is not surprising. They have been economic partners moving towards this other reserve world away from the U.S. dollar, as they feel the U.S. dollar has been militarized against them. Right. And a lot of countries feel that way with a strong dollar.
Real quick, you were extremely worried and pessimistic in general last time about things like this that hadn't even occurred yet. What are you telling your clients? What are they doing?
I would have much rather preferred to start this year saying, okay, we see positive opportunities. These are the sectors, even energy, Charles. We were thinking energy might be great if China fully reopened. Now we're looking at the analysis and energy is looking like it's falling off the cliff because people don't see the demand coming. They see potentially major economic problems coming. So I think this is going to be a year where people have to really look again at hard assets, commodities, and see a bridge to get to the other side of this mess, because we still are going to come down in both the stock and on bond markets. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. Rebecca, thank you very much. Appreciate it. No problem.
Thank you.
All right, folks, coming up now.